Next, see symbolism, imagery and allegory used in this novel. Vladimir Nabokov's purpose in writing the novel, as he explains it, is to produce aesthetic bliss. To him, so-called literature of ideas is pure nonsense, a topical trash. First imagery we find nymphet. Nymphet imagery. What is it? Nymphet is Humbert's word for an attractive young girl, but he goes to great lengths to define it precisely, particularly the age range and the exact physical qualities a girl child must have in order to qualify for nymphet status. Humbert explains a nymphet in his own opinion. Now, whether or not anyone would agree to call this girl nymphet remains unknown. This definition is Humbert's own. The nymphet definition of a nymphet is Humbert's own making. For Humbert's pleasure and to clarify for the reader and his lawyer who prompted him to write the account exactly what constitutes the object of his last. After his initial, more physical description of nymphet, Humbert makes a further point. He writes, "What drives me insane is the twofold nature of this nymphet, of every nymphet, of tender, dreamy childishness and a kind of eerie vulgarity." Not only does Humbert delineate nymphet, but he also explains that one who loves nymphets must be an artist and a madman, a creature of infinite melancholy, like him. The next imagery is the enchanted hunter. The phrase enchanted hunter comes up many times during the course of the novel and often in highly suggestive variations, such as the hunted enchanters. It is first mentioned by Charlotte, who proposes that she and Humbert have a romantic little getaway at a hotel by that name. Most importantly, the Enchanted Hunters is the name of the hotel where Humbert and Lolita first have sex. Later, Clara Quilty names his play The Enchanted Hunters, and clever Humbert does not make the connection. Remember that man who speaks to him about Lolita on the dark porch of the hotel. Humbert admits that he thought the name of the hotel and the name of the play was a coincidence. The phrase echoes more of the meanings of nymphet because it implies that the one who hunts is enchanted, almost under the spell of the girl being hunted. The hunter is drawn as if by a supernatural power that cannot be helped or hindered. Despite this connotation, the object of the hunt is clearly Lolita. Along these lines, Humbert often characterizes himself as a predator, like a spider or a monster, at one point saying that he prefers his prey to be moving rather than motionless. Clara Quilty is another of Lolita's hunters, following Humbert and Lolita around the country and finally snatching her up in Elphinstone. Next imagery is cinema. Lolita is a very cinematic novel. Not only is the style highly visual, but Humbert also constantly imagines scenes unfolding as if they are up on the big screen. Lolita is also obsessed by movies, slick movie mags, and Hollywood hunks. Humbert is both compelled by Lolita's obsession and repulsed by its vulgarity. He likens himself to a virile movie actor and appreciates the comparison Lolita has drawn between himself and a haggard lover. He is fully prepared to exploit Lolita's affection for movie land illusions and Hollywood glamour. To Nabokov, Lolita's love for movies serves as a commentary on the large American infatuation with movies. And let's not forget that Quilty makes porn movies. The very style of the novel has a depth to the cinematic arts, as Humbert often refers to a keen awareness of being watched, referring to himself as the glamorous lodger, with Lolita as the modern child, an avid reader of movie magazines and expert in dream slow close-ups. Next we find allegory, the allegory of America. America is one of the most prominent symbols in the book. America stands for consumerism, kids culture, excessive advertising is more of an allegory than a symbol. Humbert makes a lot of differences between old Europe and the relatively new America, which he closely associates with Lolita and her desires. Charlotte embodies some of the worst of American tastes and impulse, in particular the bourgeois inclinations to appear sophisticated by cluttering one's house with international knickknacks. To Charlotte, Humbert is the epitome of European elegance and intelligence. By having him in her home, she hopes that some of that class will rub off on her. Next symbol is theater. Lolita's involvement in theater not only trains her to trick Humbert even better, but also becomes the way she gets closer to Clara Quilty, whose play The Enchanted Hunter is being staged at her school. As Humbert soon fears, perhaps Lolita's involvement in theater has trained her in the art of deception and performance. Next symbol is doubles. Lolita is full of doubles, also known as doppelganger. Humbert and Quilty, Annabel and Lolita. Even the name Humbert reflects an inner duality. Quilty is the one person in the novel whose intelligence Humbert even remotely respects. They are bound by their perverse desire for Lolita. That Quilty follows Humbert around the United States emphasizes the sense that Quilty is a shadow figure to Humbert. Still, Humbert and Quilty have more in common than even Humbert would like to admit. As they fight in the end, their bodies blend together, as Humbert describes the scene. We rolled over me, they rolled over him, we rolled over us. Between Humbert and Quilty, there is a constant switching back and forth between who is the hunter and who is hunted. They are also both enchanted hunters of Lolita because they are both mesmerized by her as they prey on her. As for the Annabel and Lolita doubling, Humbert sees Lolita as Annabel's reincarnation and the cure to his lifelong ache over losing Annabel. Most importantly, they are both nymphs. Next symbol is clothing. Humbert loves to buy clothes for Lolita. Clothes are a way for Humbert to project his fantasies onto Lolita, a way to bribe her, and a way to show his own perverse form of affection. His first mention of her includes a mention of her sock. And the first thing he does before he goes to pick up Lolita from Camp Q is buy her a bunch of clothes. His journal holds his obsessive record of what she wears daily. Tweed shirt, blue jeans, and knickers. Rolled up jeans, checked fork, pretty print dress, ample in the skirt, tight in the bodice, short-sleeved, pink, checkered with darker pink. Next symbol is Macbeth. Macbeth is one of Humbert's favorite little catchphrases, refers to the strange coincidences and convergences that Humbert experiences. As for me, although I had long become used to a kind of secondary fate, pretty interfering with the boss's magnificent plan. Here, secondary fate is Macbeth, that is imped secretly, so to speak. Macbeth is one of the most notable quirks. It is the reappearance of the number 342. It's the street number of his home. The number is 342. The room number at the Enchanted Hunters is the same. And the total number of hotel in which Humbert and Lolita stay during their travels, that is 342. What the number ultimately signifies is unknown, but the number 342 reappears in many incidents. Next, we must see opening line of the novel. What is the first line or opening line of the novel? This is the opening sentences. I should read it. Lolita, light of my life, fire of my loins, my sin, my soul, Lolita. The tip of the tongue taking a trip of 3 steps down the palate to top, at 3 on the teeth. Lolita. She was low, playing low, in the morning, standing 4 feet 10 in one sock. She was Lola in slacks. She was Dolly at school. She was Dolores on the dotted line. But in my arms, she was always Lolita. This is the end of this video. Hope to see you in the next video. In the next video, I will provide you MCQ from this novel.